Hi everybody, I thought I'd do a short video on finding places to pull over, and the aspect of it is to do with planning. Now, when going into risk or approaching a roundabout or a junction, taking the observation or taking the information in or identifying the issue and then taking information and giving information are crucial. They're the first parts of it. And that will dictate the plan, the identification of how severe a junction is, the turn on a junction, how busy it is. That's the part of the information. When finding somewhere to pull over, you'll be surprised. In some areas, there'll be actually less spaces than there is spaces, especially if you take into consideration the legality of not parking over drop curbs or 10 metres from a junction. A lot of the time, in most streets, there's actually less spaces or opportunity to pull over than there is spaces. So it can make it more difficult. A lot of the time when you've been asked to find somewhere to pull over on the left, or you need to find somewhere to pull on the left, a lot of the time that you actually can't find somewhere, you can't identify somewhere at that moment in time. So one of the things you can do that will help you is, even though you can't plan or identify anywhere that you could stop, the first thing you could do is take information in front of you, but primarily behind you. So if you find when you've done rear mirror observations that there's nobody behind you, it gives you then the ability to slow quicker because you're not affecting anybody. And by slowing earlier and quicker, it slows down time and it gives you more opportunity to make better assessments of where you can pull over. And you might be able to find that you can pull over somewhere. It's not to scale here, earlier than you think. Now, if there's somebody really close behind you, you don't have the same opportunity. So you may have to find somewhere more appropriate where you feel you can plan it better. So it might be that you can bring your speed down a little, and then when you found somewhere that you'd have to obviously put an audio indicator on to let them know what your intention is, because ideally you want to put the indicator on and set the intention before you adjust the speed or direction of the vehicle. So the thing to think about here is when you're not sure and you can't identify anywhere, by taking the rear mirror observations and finding out there's nobody behind you or they're very far away from you, you could then bring the speed down earlier and harsher. And you wouldn't need a signal, because unless you were going to affect somebody else, a pedestrian or another vehicle, you wouldn't be misleading anybody. You might not need a signal just to slow down. So that's just a little thing. So if you're unsure where you can identify somewhere to plan, the first thing to go for is to do the observations, to take information in, to find out if you can adjust the speed of the car. Hope that helps.